Hi, beautiful folks. Just popping on here to share the footage of the decrim hearing in Jonesboro so you can digest it and see what's going on here in Georgia. I'm going to start by sharing the news clips, and then I'm going to jump right into the hearing. And actually, I might end with another news clip. I'll start with one and end with one. Just seriously, everyone who came, I think, did such a great job speaking out about human rights, civil rights, and freeing a plant. So, with no further ado, this happened last Monday. This past Monday in Jonesboro, Georgia. May all cities follow, or let's just free it, legalize it, regulate it. What's the big deal?
Tonight, another Metro Atlanta city is decriminalizing marijuana. People in Jonesboro will no longer go to jail if they possess a small amount of the drug. 11 Live's Galat Malamed joining us live outside Jonesboro City Hall with how people are reacting to this decision, Galat.
Faith, many people cheered here inside City Hall when the council voted to decriminalize marijuana. Several people that we spoke to say they don't want what could potentially be a one-time mistake to have harmful consequences on someone's future.
We want to make the punishment fit the crime here.
Now that punishment is a smaller fine and no jail time. Drew Andrews says decriminalizing marijuana in Jonesboro.
I believe it's long overdue.
The longtime Jonesboro resident also chairs the county's Democratic Party.
I believe that our police officers can be better use of their times chasing more violent crime.
Councilwoman Chelsea Kearney says that's one reason she put forward the ordinance. She also wants the city to be in line with Clayton County, which decriminalized the drug in September. Now the punishment in Clayton County and Jonesboro for possession of less than an ounce is up to a $150 fine, no jail time.
I think this is important because disproportionately there are certain groups that are, criminalized for small amounts of marijuana disproportionately.
Several people spoke in support of decriminalization, like this man who uses THC medicinally.
With it being decriminalized, that makes it a lot easier. It's still not access like it should be.
Councilwoman Tracy Messick was the only no vote.
Decriminalizing sends a confusing message to residents that something is acceptable locally even though it remains illegal statewide.
Bobby Lester also disagrees.
I just think it's a bad idea all the way around. If they don't have the recommended, whatever the recommended amount is, they'll get away with it. But that doesn't mean that they don't have a whole stash at home.
Jonesboro now joins about 24 municipalities in Georgia that decriminalize marijuana, including Atlanta, Forest Park, and Fulton County. The new rules go into effect immediately. Live in Jonesboro, Galat Malamed, 11 Live News.
Yes, some mixed reviews there. Well, those are the rules now. Galat, thank you so much for bringing that to us.
Comment. David Rodenbach.
Yes.
Please. How are you? Can you pronounce your last name for me?
It's Rodenbach.
Rodenbach.
Rodenbach, yes.
Rodenbach.
I ran for agriculture commissioner last election. Some of you might even have voted.
Okay, that's why.
I didn't win, though, so okay. Unfortunately. I'm here to say thank you for what you're doing here about the cannabis legislation. Stopping criminalizing people over this plant is a huge first step in bringing about sensible cannabis legislation, which is what my organization, which is Grassroots Association, we support fully the idea of whole plant, full plant. And the reason is, when we do that, we're able to bring things like wood. This, and I just brought this as a sample, and I'd love to pass it around if you'd like to see it. But this is hemp wood. This is actually completely renewable resource that, as soon as we understand that how we're legislating cannabis is wrong, and it should be looked at as a natural resource, which is part of the reason I said I ran as ag commissioner. You get quality products like this in locally grown, homegrown businesses that are producing this renewable resource and beautiful for furniture or wood or even desks and tables and things like that. So again, I'm really here to say thank you for stopping putting people in jail over this plant, and also offer my time to come and speak or work with any one of you that would like to know more about cannabis and how it could help your economy as well as the ecology, because it even cleans soil. It does things to the soil that people don't get to use or take advantage of because they're worried about being criminalized by being called cannabis instead of hemp. So that description is criminalizing it and stopping us from many, many benefits that I hope your community is leading the charge on. And again, I'd like to offer my services time is to just come down and talk with anybody if you have more information or you'd like questions. I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Would anyone like to see
Right
the
about.
samples or anything? No? All right.
I won't get in trouble.
Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Corey Lowe. Devin Franklin. Devin, do you mind? Can you give me a zip code?
30303.
You state your name and your address. I didn't even.
Yes,
Just make
ma'am.
sure when y'all come up here, be courteous. You got 3 minutes to talk and just be polite. There you go. Forgot to read that part. Go ahead.
Good evening, council members. My name is Devin Franklin. I am Senior Movement Policy Counsel at the Southern Center for Human Rights. We are a nonprofit law firm located in the city of Atlanta, and we work towards equality, dignity, and justice for people impacted by the criminal legal system in the Deep South. Among other things, our mission is to fight for a world free from mass incarceration, criminalization of poverty, and racial injustice. In my role as policy counsel at the Southern Center, I work with and monitor the roles citizens and cities and counties in Georgia play in addressing issues that touch upon our mission. And I am here tonight to speak to and in support of amendment to the ordinance code section 46-8, that of course being the decriminalization of marijuana. In addition to my current role at Southern Center, I'm a former public defender. I worked 12 years in Fulton County, and I can tell you that I also cut my teeth here as an intern for Judge Linda Cowan in state court. And I can tell you that in my personal experiences, I have seen the harms that flow from the prosecution of marijuana. Tonight, I would like to offer 3 arguments in support of decriminalization. The first being that it reduces arrests and incarcerations, obviously, and the costs that flow from it. The obvious part of this is that without police having to give significant attention to the enforcement of marijuana laws, there are more significant resources that can be committed to other public safety measures within cities and counties. Additionally, decriminalization addresses the racial disparities that are present in the enforcement of marijuana arrests. Decriminalization, of course, speaks to the fact that historically Black and brown people have been arrested at significantly higher rates for marijuana possession than white persons, and that is despite similar levels of usage. Finally, I would like to speak to the collateral consequences of marijuana prosecution. Lessening criminal penalties prevents individuals from facing significant legal barriers and other barriers. Those are barriers that include housing, that includes employment, that includes educational opportunities, the inability to secure scholarships, all for marijuana possession, even getting your license suspended and not being able to travel to work, or if you do so, risking prosecution for driving on a suspended license. None of these things, the prosecution that of marijuana presents, outweigh these other harms. And I encourage you all, and I'm encouraged to see that you all are even having a discussion about this, and I hope to see that you all pass it tonight. If I can be of any further usage as it pertains to any other public safety or social justice issues, I would love to be in dialogue with you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Hunter Knight.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hunter Knight, and I currently reside in Lawrenceville, zip code 30043. I'm coming in today as a concerned citizen and a fellow Georgian, coming to show my support for the amendment to 46-8. I really love what has the potential to be done here. I was very present for the type of same work we did here in Athens and other similar municipalities in the state of Georgia. And I guess I'm coming to give my little anecdote as someone who has not only been on the receiving end of these type of penalties we've seen in current state law with how we treat the plant, but also as just a concerned individual who has had other loved ones who haven't had the same privileges I have to get back up on their feet when they encounter these types of issues with cannabis possession. I personally believe that we all have a right to, I personally believe a plant shouldn't ruin your life. And while I know that there's only so much the city can do, this decision we're making here tonight is a small step in a much bigger journey that the state needs to take to really do what's right here. The person before me couldn't have said it better myself. So I'm not going to come with all the statistics at the moment. Again, I'm kind of just coming from work because I'm really just happy to be here and I want to be present for the type of decision we're making today because it's historic. And I just want to thank you all again for taking the time to have this conversation. And please know the decision we make today will be a deciding factor for not only where the state goes, but other municipalities in the state go as well. And it makes the work activists like myself and the people speaking before and after me so much more, a lot more easier just knowing that we know this is what Georgians need, and I'm just glad to see this legislation going in the right direction. And hopefully we all make the same great decision today, and thank you again.
Thank you so much. Avira. Did I pronounce that correctly? A-V-I-R-A?
It's Aviva. I have horrible handwriting.
Oh,
it's not
okay.
your fault.
A-V.
Same backwards and forwards.
Okay. P.O. Box. Can I get your zip code, please?
30031.
Okay.
Thanks for having me here today. I have an organization, a grassroots education organization called Georgia Hemp Economic Revival Organization. And I think, like the speakers before me would agree, it's downright un-American to lock someone out for smoking a joint at this point. We have pop icons out there, like James Dean smoking a cigarette, Bob Marley smoking a spliff. And so if we're gonna have these hypocritical messages, we have to admit we've got Pied Piper there just drawing people in to get locked up. And that is so unfair and confusing to our general public and for our public safety. In addition, we already have a legal medical cannabis program, so the officers, if they're confused about the industrial hemp products I brought in today, they're gonna be really confused about the legal hemp products and the legal medical cannabis products that many of our citizens are using. And so they can use their subjectivity to really ruin people's lives, and it really makes me sad, and I know personally many lives that have been ruined from this. And so I thank you for considering decriminalizing, because our state is very far behind, but I think we have about 18 cities now that are decriminalized, so I'm very hopeful that if we all follow suit, then we will protect Americans and our tourists, because I think we're maybe one of 10 states left that haven't decriminalized. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yolanda Bennett. Okay. Chris. I'm gonna let her come in for a second. Chris, can you spell your last name for me?
Q-U-I-D-R-T.
Q-U-I-D-R-T.
D-O-R-T.
D. Thanks, Chris.
Zip code 30274.
Okay.
There we go. So I'm a patient of the oil program, but you know, so what the cannabis whole plant does is it allows me to stay out of pain, pain chronically, but also it's helped me. So I used to be addicted to all kinds of like Xanax and all. I've been able to use it as harm reduction also in recovery, because in other states have actually used it, and it's helped with opiate addiction and all that. So on that form, like we have RSO in our program, it's like a 5%. So I got like non-cancerous tumors, and I've been able to use the plant to actually shrink tumors. But 5% is not going to shrink it. So the higher percentage of the whole plant or whatever is I'm able to use the RSO and shrink tumors. So with it being decriminalized, that makes it a lot easier. It's still not access like it should be, but also been in trouble in the past, and it's really frustrating to be able to, I know that I've been able to use it in harm reduction, and there's other harm reduction that has actually been worse for people, like methadone and Suboxone is actually worse when the cannabis is actually in the oil form can be used to get people off the heroin and all that stuff. So that's my percent.
Thank you, Chris. Marion Mitchell. Hey, Marion.
Hey everyone, good evening. My name is Marion Mitchell III, and I came to speak about the decriminalization of cannabis in the city of Jonesboro. I wanted to start off with a story. My name is Marion. I went to the illustrious Fort Valley State University. I have been able to attend the University of Mizzou, and I feel like I'm a good role model to all my little cousins. I'm a good role model to all my other family members who's out there trying to get it. When I was at the University of Mizzou, I was struggling with school. I was like, maybe this is what I want to do. Maybe I want to go pursue this degree. And while I was up there, they legalized cannabis. And when they legalized cannabis, I was like, let's just try something new. Let's go out on a whim. And I got a job at a dispensary. And at the dispensary, I was working with not just people coming in trying to get high. I was working with people who are patients, people who are in pain every day. And I think of a certain patient that comes to mind every time I go back in my head and I think about my time in Missouri. It's a man named Dave. And Dave had a triple bypass heart surgery. And during his triple bypass heart surgery, Dave's doctors tried to put him on Vicodin, Percocets, all of these painkillers. Chris just spoke about it. And Dave said, in my youth, I was addicted. After I broke an arm, I was addicted to all of these different painkillers. And it touched me when Dave came into the store and said, hey man, I'm looking for some cannabis because I want to use that as my painkiller. I want to use cannabis as my pain relief. I want it to help me heal. And I believe that cannabis is a healing plant. I don't believe people should be going to jail for cannabis. Half the country is legal in cannabis. And I'm not coming up here saying, hey, we need to legalize, but we do need to at least decriminalize cannabis because it ruins people's lives. And that's telling me that people like Dave are criminals, and he's not. Dave is just a man who was hurting after he had to go to surgery, and they opened up and cut open his chest. But that's all I had to say, y'all. Y'all have a blessed one.
Representative Eric Bell.
There was a remark session for you, but if you would like to do public comment as well, love it. Okay.
Greetings, Madam Mayor, Jonesboro City Council. Congratulations to all the new members for your victory, and all the old members that continue the work that you do for the great city of Jonesboro. I'm here to support of the decriminalization of marijuana, cannabis, hemp, whatever you may call the leaf. I'm lucky. As a youth, I actually got pulled over with marijuana when it was a felony, and a plane had crashed. I kid you not, a plane had crashed in Henry County at one of their smaller airports, and the cops said, it's your lucky day. At that point, I could have lost my scholarship to Morehouse College. I was a straight A student, and I was part of the Elite Scholar program before the Elite Scholars had a school. And my future would have looked totally different had I been penalized for that. And I come to say that because there's a lot more little girls and little boys that probably have straight A's and look just like me and act just like me. But they'll be penalized and their futures will be in jeopardy if we don't act now. As the young man stated before, across the nation, decriminalization is going. Legalization is going. And in the state of Colorado, there was the only state that didn't have a recession during the Great Recession because the revenue they received from marijuana and cannabis sales. So without getting long, I humbly ask that Madam Mayor and the council favorably move this piece of legislation for those who are looking for harm reduction, safe access, and just a better pursuit of life. Thank you, and I yield the podium.
Thank you so much. Yolanda Bennett.
Good evening, all. My name is Yolanda Bennett with the Georgia Medical Cannabis Society. We are a 501c3 organization. And what we do is, I had to go ahead and write this down so I can stay on track, because I tend to veer to the left. But what we do, we work with patients and families across Georgia who are navigating an extremely limited medical cannabis program. I'm also a former correctional officer, disabled truck driver, and I wasn't always pro-cannabis. But I always use that term, or my motto, you don't want to have to need this, but just in case you do, let's hope it's available for you. Now, I want to make this clear directly. We totally support this decriminalization because it's a plant. This plant had been criminalized because of, it's in the history books, Harry Anslinger, 1930. Or was it 1928? Well, like I said, Harry Anslinger. Could have been 1928. But anyway, sorry. But regardless, the reason why we want to be concerned about this being decrimmed, Clayton County is decrimmed. We've heard about Clayton County jails. They're overcrowded. A whole bunch of stuff. You can alleviate this while people don't have to be worried about crossing out of one region to another in the county. You know, you cross out of the county into the city limits, get pulled over, you're at risk of going to jail. Why not remove that? FIFA's coming. Let's go ahead and alleviate that. You have some large cities like Athens. Their fine is only $35. They wanted to make it $1, but they couldn't. So what I want to say is, basically, possession of small amounts of cannabis has already been decriminalized. And aligning with local policy matters because enforcement should not depend on a zip code. Each year, hundreds of thousands of people nationwide are arrested for simple possession, even though these cases are overwhelmingly nonviolent. In jurisdictions that eliminate jail time to low-level possession, arrests decline, court dockets shrink, and police resources are freed up for serious crime. That also matters. Clayton counties, well, I'll skip down to this part right here, okay. From public health perspective, cannabis is widely recognized as a harm reduction tool. Harm reduction is about reducing negative outcomes, not encouraging them. Cannabis has been used for healing for thousands of years.
Time.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Letter B, council to discuss and or consider a proposed amendment to Ordinance Code Section 46.8, possession of marijuana less than 1 ounce.
All right, thank you. If you could pull up the PowerPoint, please. I do have a light presentation and then remarks at the end. So, oh gosh, I need you. You just, yeah, if y'all could go all the way back. Yes, a light presentation. Thank you all so much for coming out here and being in support. So we're going to go ahead and get started, but welcome to the City of Jonesboro if you've never been before. This is a proposal to align the City of Jonesboro's simple marijuana possession penalties with neighboring communities and modern best practices. So this is really just us wanting to make sure people aren't being incarcerated because of, this sad incident, sorry. Next, thank you. So I was in the Navy at one point in time, and every good brief has a references slide, and I do believe in that. I'm going to take that with me here. All right, moving on. I'm not going to say this is classified or anything. This is very unclass. All right, so why Jonesboro should update ordinance section 46-8. So currently, our ordinance treats possession of 1 ounce or less of marijuana as a serious criminal offense. And under that general Penalty of ordinance section 1-12, citizens face up to $1,000 in fines and 180 days in jail for just a simple possession. Jonesboro's penalty structure places us significantly out of step with Clayton County, Atlanta, and a lot of our neighboring cities, who I am going to speak about later on in this PowerPoint. A lot of them have moved towards civil penalties with no jail time, and our current approach is a lot harsher than necessary, and it also consumes valuable law enforcement resources that we currently have, and it creates an enforcement disparity for our residents as compared to those just living just outside of the city limits. So we definitely want to get aligned. This presentation is going to outline that straightforward path and reclassify the possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana as a civil violation with a modest fine. And you can also do community service, but it will equate to absolutely no jail time. Next slide. All right, so how it currently works today. So section 46-8 grants the municipal court jurisdiction over possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana, and the punishment will be as provided in section 1-12, which I already outlined earlier, which is the fine of up to $1,000, imprisonment of 180 days, and both the fine or imprisonment, and that does not include the court fees as well. And this has all been verified by, our judge, Chief Judge Wood. So he is, very aware of this, and he is in support. The problem right now is, by default, low-level marijuana possession becomes a fully criminalized offense, which has serious consequences that are disproportionate and costly to our citizens. So I really just want to make sure we're aligned. All right, so Clayton County already led the way. September of last year, they did pass an ordinance in which possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana was a civil non-criminal violation. So right now they're at a $150 civil fine, no jail time, no drug convictions, and it is still illegal under the state law. We are not trying to, we're not trying to say that marijuana will no longer be, illegal, but we just want to decriminalize it for our city. Next. Perfect, thank you. Atlanta already set the standard years ago, of course, with their ordinance that they put forth, and they recognize that, without specific penalties, marijuana offenses defaulted to harsh general penalties, and they were disproportionate to the conduct. So we don't want to, do that anymore, of course, and that's the situation that we're currently in. Currently, Atlanta has a maximum fine of $75, and of course, still no imprisonment. And Atlanta City Council explicitly recognized the structural flaw in allowing general penalty possession to apply to low-level marijuana possession, and it's the same flaw that's currently in our Jonesboro Code that we are trying to change today. All right, Forest Park. So they are the first city in Clayton County to actually decriminalize marijuana back in 2018. So they, of course, have no jail time. And then theirs is a $100 fine for their first offense and $300 fines for their subsequent offenses. So Forest Park proves that decriminalization works in a small, non-college Clayton County cities. And this isn't just a policy for big cities or college towns. It's practical and effective for communities just like ours, and we really should adopt that today. I wanted to put up 2 cities as well that are also in Georgia, but there might be different sizes or the same approach or even close in comparable size to us, specifically East Point. So they decriminalized December of 2023, and they're geographically close to us. As it pertains to Metro Atlanta. So they have a $75 citation or community service. And Camilla is, they decriminalized in April of 2023. They have a $35 fine or community service, and their population is more closely comparable to ours. So this example just shows that across, different cities in Georgia that we're all moving towards the right direction, and we're trying to be workable, fair, and effective without any adverse public safety consequences as well. Next slide. All right, so this is currently a list of all the cities and counties that have currently decriminalized, and I do have the ones that pertain to us here in Clayton County bolded, being Forest Park and, of course, Clayton County. If we pass it today, Jonesboro will be the 22nd municipality to decriminalize marijuana in the state of Georgia, and hopefully we keep, giving and setting the example for others to do that as well. All right, so I'm going to address some common concerns that you might hear, just different, notions and stuff like that. So this legalizes marijuana? Absolutely not. This proposal does not legalize marijuana. The possession remains illegal under Georgia state law. If it is found that someone is pulled over and they have less than 1 ounce of marijuana, the police officer will destroy it on scene. It will be seen within, his or her camera, and they will be given a citation for that. We're simply adjusting the local penalty exactly the same as Clayton County did and as Atlanta, and we're aligning with our county, and the conduct is still prohibited. We're just making the punishment fit the offense. We want to make the punishment fit the crime here, and so that's the direction we're trying to go in. This will increase crime or drug use that is not supported by evidence. Statistically, peer jurisdictions have adopted the decriminalization to improve public safety by reallocating law enforcement resources to more serious crimes, and none of the jurisdictions have found that decriminalization actually increased crime. In fact, the opposite argument is stronger, freeing up the police time for more violent crimes and utilizing those resources better, and property crimes, so making our communities safer. Jonesboro will lose revenue. Misleading. Civil fines remain enforceable and collectible, so we will still be collecting this money from those fines. And meanwhile, the incarceration-related costs, so whether it be booking, detention, court time, routinely exceed any revenue generated by a higher penalty. So this is about smart resource allocation and not revenue loss. And the city should wait on Georgia legislature. I think it's not necessary. Georgia law already authorizes municipal courts to handle these cases and allows cities to set the penalties by ordinance. We are not going against Georgia state law. We are still in accordance with, so there's no need to, try to say that that's something that we are currently doing. We don't need permission from the state legislature to do this. We have the authority to act now, and our neighbors have already done so. So I just want to make sure everybody knows we affirm our stance in the city of Jonesboro that the use of marijuana or any other illegal drug is not tolerated within the city limits. However, we recognize the limitations and societal impacts of punitive enforcement, and the city adopts this as a more focused, holistic approach. Why this matters? Mainly, fairness and proportionality, regional consistency, resource allocation, as I stated prior, and of course, community trust. So a person caught with a small amount of marijuana shouldn't face the same potential jail time as someone convicted of far more serious offenses. And if they are pulled over and they have another, charge that is a more serious offense, those still will be, prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Our current ordinance just treats low-level possession with a severity that just doesn't match the conduct. Next. So what I'm proposing right now is a cap of the fine, of course, somewhere between $75 to $150. I did want to do the fine for $100, and I absolutely want to eliminate the incarceration, so remove the jail time as a penalty for the possession of 1 ounce or less, and clarify it as a civil status, so make clear that the violations are civil and not non-criminal, and non-criminal under city law, and of course, preserve transfer rights. So next. So here we go. So $100 for the maximum fine, of course, 0 days of jail time, and of course, 100% community service option. And if there are, people that would like more, personal medical, resources and stuff like that, I definitely want to extend that to them as well. All right, so what happens to the state law? Like I said, nothing in this ordinance changes Georgia state law. Marijuana possession remains illegal under the state statute, and that's what we're changing is how Jonesboro handles these cases at our municipal court level. All right, next. All right, so I do have some remarks, and I would like for our Clayton County Police Chief to come up. Chief Roberts, if you could.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and Council. Thank you for having me. And I want to just salute Councilwoman Kearney because her presentation was excellent. And Actually, I wish I had your presentation when I approached my board in September of 25, because it's very well done, very accurate. And I just want to say, I listened to this council have a robust conversation about monies for youth. Those youth grow into young adults. And I don't know about you, but I made many a mistake during my young life as an adult that I was able to recover from. These arrests for possession of marijuana less than an ounce, if criminalized, stays with a person for an extended period of time. I know as a police chief, when I interview candidates that have had a possession charge, I have to weigh that in my consideration of giving them an employment. It may have been a one-time decision in life where they made a bad decision, but that's on their criminal record. This approach changes that. This approach gives the community, any Clayton County community, any Clayton County citizen, an opportunity to recover from a bad decision in their youth. So I endorse this, and I'll say again that I want to copyright Councilwoman Kearney's presentation. It was excellent, but this approach maintains that marijuana remains illegal under Georgia law while offering a practical civil alternative that reflects current prosecutorial realities and regional best practices. I think that's what this council wants to be part of. I think that's what the Clayton County Board of Commissioners wanted to be a part of. And I think it's what the region needs to be a part of. So I salute this council, and I support Councilwoman Kearney's approach, and I support this council's approach if that's the direction that you choose. And I'm here for questions if you have them. I like that.
All right. There will be. Thank you so much, Chief. So I did also want to bring up Corey Lowe from Peachtree Normal. And then after that, it will be final remarks from our representative, Eric Bell. Go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you for having me, Madam Mayor, and thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I'll be brief because I know everyone's got lives and busy things to do, and I respect your time, and thank you again. Like you said, my name is Corey Lowe, and I'm a former police officer with DeKalb County, and just here as a advocate, as a parent, and I heard you all speaking earlier about the budget, and I understand there's a lot, and it just seems like a simple fix to decriminalize cannabis and use the funds, and you can have the greatest Christmas light ever using the money from that. You can, you can make it a Hallmark movie.
There you go.
And you could help with the children, with the youth, and take the money from the citations, and it's a win-win. It seems like a simple solution, and the people who have been caught and have been, you know, not able to pay, put them at the cemetery, and they can clean up the cemetery during the summer, and that would cut down on overtime for the city works.
Come on now.
Sorry. It just seemed like a simple solution while I was sitting back there listening, and I'm not a rocket scientist by any means, but it just seemed like it made sense. And so anyway, thank you all for your time, and we hope to be here a part of this historical night, and thank you all for your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
State Representative Eric Bell, did you? I know you spoke at public comment. You good?
You good.
All right, perfect. All right, next one. All right, so I do request for approval. I respectfully request that this ordinance be adopted today, and you might ask why. So our neighboring jurisdictions have. Sorry about that. Our neighboring jurisdictions have already acted. Clayton County's ordinance is already in effect. Every day we wait is another day for Jonesboro residents to face disproportionate penalties compared to those living just right outside of our city limits. This is a straightforward policy update with proven results in comparable communities. We have the legal authority, the policy justification, and the regional precedent to move forward. And what happens next, if we do approve this today, this ordinance will take effect immediately, and our law enforcement officials, solicitor, and municipal court will begin applying the new civil penalty structure, and Jonesboro would join our peer jurisdictions in treating low-level marijuana possession with proportionate, evidence-based penalties. This is about fairness, consistency, and smart governance, and I look forward to your support.
This time I entertain a motion to approve proposed ordinance regarding possession of marijuana.
So made.
In discussion.
Mayor, I have a statement I'd like to read.
Oh, please read.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I'm not going to be popular. I'm so sorry. But I respectfully oppose the decriminalization of marijuana in our city. My position is not based on punishment, but on public safety, respect for the law, economic opportunity, and the long-term health of our community. I want to make just a few points. It won't take too long. Point one, marijuana is still illegal under Georgia state law. First and most importantly, marijuana remains illegal in the state of Georgia, regardless of local discussion about decriminalization. Under OCGA 16-1330, possession of less than 1 ounce of marijuana is a misdemeanor offense. The law allows penalty to up to 12 months in jail or a fine of $1,000. Possession of 1 ounce more is classified as a felony under state law. While some cities have attempted to reduce local penalties, local ordinances do not override state law. State law enforcement agencies can and do continue to enforce Georgia statutes even in cities that attempt to decriminalize possession. Decriminalizing sends a confusing message to residents that something is acceptable locally even though it remains illegal statewide. My second point is Jonesboro already enforces public safety laws consistently. Jonesboro has made it clear that public safety and law enforcement consistency matter. For example, the City of Jonesboro strictly regulates open container violations. Under Jonesboro's Code 6-6, it's illegal to possess an open container of alcohol in a motor vehicle, on a public street, or in parks or in parking lots, with limited, clear, defined exceptions for permitted events. At the state level, the open container law has a fine of $200 plus court cost. So alcohol is legal, and it's going to carry a double the fine for causing a law violation that possessing an illegal substance would cause. If we enforce alcohol laws to protect safety, why would we weaken enforcement of another illegal substance that affects judgment, reaction time, and public behavior? Reduced penalties encourage increased use of law breaking. Making penalties less severe encourages more use. When laws are weakened, behavior follows. Decriminalizing does not eliminate marijuana use, it normalizes it. The normalization leads to increased public use, increased exposure for our youth, and increased burden on law enforcement and on the court system. Rather than encouraging residents to abide by the law, decriminalization encourages people to test boundaries and disregard legal standards entirely. Law exists not only to punish, but to guide behavior. Weakening consequences weakens compliance. A drug-free community creates job opportunities. Fourth, drug-free standards open doors to employment, especially in government and public service careers. Many city, county, state, and federal jobs require drug-free testing, including the armed forces, law enforcement, fire and emergency services, public works, transportation, utilities, and infrastructure roles. Maintaining a clear message that Jonesboro values a drug-free workforce helps residents, especially our young people, remain eligible for stable careers with benefits, pensions, and long-term growth. Decriminalization works against that goal by lowering expectations instead of raising opportunities. My last point. Finally, a drug-free community benefits families, schools, and neighbors. It promotes clear expectations for youth, safe public spaces, stronger accountability, and respect for law and order. We can be compassionate without lowering our standards. We can support rehabilitation, education, and prevention while still affirming that illegal drugs do not belong in our culture. A closing note, Jonesboro is a city that I love, a city of pride, a city with lots of history, and a city with lots of promise. By choosing not to decriminalize marijuana, we choose clarity over confusion, opportunity over normalization, and safety over short-term convenience. Increased public use, increased exposure for youth, and increased burden on law enforcement and courts. Thank you for your time and your commitment to the future of Jonesboro.
There's a motion on the floor. It's been appropriately second. All in favor?
I do have a,
I have
I'm sorry.
something to say as well.
Yeah, I thought we were still in discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know anybody. Okay. Anybody over here want to say something?
I had something that I wanted to say.
Okay.
So this matter hits home for me. Many of you know that I have two beautiful boys, and one of them loved Mary Jane at one point of his life, but I thank God, by the grace of God, that he is now serving in the Army Air Traffic Control. He was 17, yeah. He was 17 when he was pulled over, and I thank God that God found favor with the police officer that pulled him over and, you know, just kind of gave him a warning. One of the things that I would like to see, Councilman Kearney, I think the presentation, as Chief said, amazing job. I would like to see that fine increase possibly to mirror Clayton County a little bit, 150 if possible. Also, one of the things that I had to do for my son, which I know many parents may have not been fortunate to do, and Chief can clarify this for me. I believe in Clayton County, first-time offenders, for those under 21, may be required to complete a substance abuse education or recovery program instead of paying the fine. Is that something, Councilman Kearney, that's included in the ordinance? I wasn't sure. I wanted to ask you about that.
Yes, it is.
Okay, perfect. I think that there should be exceptions, and one of them should be that. This ordinance also applies to Clayton County also has it where this ordinance applies to simple possession of green leaf marijuana. It does not apply to DUIs involving marijuana. And if other criminal charges are present, this decriminalization may not apply. Is this also something that is in the ordinance?
Yes, our ordinance mirrors Clayton County's ordinance with the exception of the amount of the fine, but everything else mirrors theirs exactly.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Alrighty. Right over here.
Yeah. Well, yeah, first.
Councilman Alfred Dixon.
Thank you. Thanks again, Councilwoman Kearney, for putting us in alignment, you know, with our county and our sister cities as well. And it's clear that we're thinking far beyond enforcement with this revision. So I really do appreciate that. Going back to Councilwoman Kearney's point in regards to raising it, would the council be open to, Councilman Fox, excuse me. Councilman Fox alluded to raising it. Would this council be open to taking it up even a little bit more and creating a restricted reallocation use for those funds to go towards our veterans, seniors, residents with unique abilities, children?
We would have to look into the legality of, would that have to be a separate resolution when we apply funds? And also, if we were to do a maximum civil fine of 150, just understand that it's a maximum. The judge could still determine what he wants at that particular point. Another stipulation I was going to advise that if community service is in lieu of payment, that community service is required to be done in the city of Jonesboro. Now they have a lot of flexibility. You can go just about anywhere. So I would ask that community service be, if it is in lieu of payment, that it's required to be on a structured date.
Mayor?
So yes.
Oh, my bad. Are you finished?
Yes. I just want to be clear that there's a motion on the floor for the ordinance code section, amendment to the ordinance code section 46-8 as prescribed in the agenda item summary package.
Okay. I was just going to say to Councilman A. Dixon's point, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I just want to make sure we're, within, the confines of the law to do that. If that money can be, funneled somewhere else, like for anything else for the city, like whether it be, like you said, veterans or, our senior population or even our youth population. Yes, exactly. Disabled youth, anything. I wouldn't have a problem with that. I just want to make sure that it doesn't mess up anything with the municipal courts as well, but no problem on my side.
Council, I would ask that we approve it without that particular condition. I would like to look at numbers and see how this impacts, because we have a revenue line item for courts that affects a budget. So let's see that before we do allocation. I'm not opposed to that at a future day, but I definitely think we need to look at some financial numbers first before we're doing that.
Or would you?
Well, right now the current motion is at 150. and it was been appropriately second.
Madam Mayor, it's, well, 100 was the motion.
And I'm sorry, at 100, I'm sorry,
Yes.
and it's been appropriately second. So right now, the motion on the floor is for 100. Mayor Pro Tem?
I'm for, if we don't decide to increase it, I'd like to know if you're open to the subsequent fines that Forest Park included for repeat offenders. Maybe that is where we can offset the price. And even if it's not the second time, maybe it's the third time, but if we can put that in there, I want to know if you're open to that.
How was that already set up in the court when their repeat offenders come in? I know there's something already.
So in the courts, it goes, say a standard fine is $250, and then it doubles to $500, and then it doubles again for 30 minutes. But when we discussed this initially, the initial fine was $150. Am I mistaken?
Well, I wanted it to be $100. For Clayton County, it is $150 currently, but I wanted us to bring ours down to $100. But I am open to somewhere between that. I would ask that council, can we at least say like $125? Can we meet in the middle there? Is that an option or no?
And again, I just want to be mindful that we are establishing a maximum not to exceed. So there is still variability for the judge to, is it not? I'm sorry, Chief. Can he, when we say maximum, he can determine less, can he?
Yes.
He can determine more.
He can
No.
determine.
He can't determine more.
Establish the maximum, that's what you're saying the judge
Can't go, yeah, okay, that's right. He can't go over, okay.
He can go less.
Okay, gotcha, that's what I meant. Who made the motion?
Councilwoman Kearney.
Would you like to amend your motion to establish a maximum civil fine of $150?
I still got some more discussion about that.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to clarity, so it's already built in that no matter what, even for the civil, it's gonna double if they are repeat offenders.
No.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Mayor Pro Tem, no.
We should include that.
This will not be, this is a non-criminal administrative fine, and so it will not automatically double. In addition, with regular criminal penalties, there are add-ons that the court will add on, and those add-on charges are prescribed by state law. Like some of it has to go maybe for the library, the court, or the Munich Code. There are different requirements for all the different add-ons. You can have a $200 criminal ticket, but you may end up paying $325 once you put all the add-ons on there. And that 120, yeah. So that 125 is all add-on. This administrative penalty does away with that. There will be no add-ons. This will be the maximum penalty. And the judge, when we met with the judge and our police chief to discuss this proposal, you know, the judge knew that he had discretion in terms of what kind of community service he would impose, whether he would do it. You know, there's a wide array of factors that a court can use, its mercy and discretion, and how it does the fine, making people do certain things in community service. I think, to your point, Madam Mayor, talking with the judge and solicitor about community service opportunities here in Jonesboro, so they'll know where to funnel individuals to those programs will be necessary. But I just wanted to clarify that. And I don't think there was anything else that was lingering, but if it was, please remind me.
So can we put that in here, that if you are a repeat offender, your fine is increased?
Well, I want to be mindful. Let me just say that. If it's not a problem, then what's the problem with them doing it over again? It's a crime. It's a crime. It's just we've made it civil. So are we telling them? And again, this is just me thinking this through. If it's civil, and therefore it's no longer criminal, then if I get caught on Monday, then you're saying that I should never do it again, because if I get caught on Tuesday, you're gonna triple my fine. But again, I'm not in law enforcement. I don't know.
It would be two separate penalties. So if you get caught Monday and you get caught Tuesday, then each offense is its own separate offense. It carries with it its own fine. So you'll be subject to 200, whatever you all come up with as a number. You will be subject to each day you're caught. Is a crime. So or it's a fine. Let me also say that one of the things that Councilwoman Kearney stated in her presentation is that there is nothing that prohibits the Jonesboro police officer, if they pull someone over with less than an ounce, and they also have an unregistered firearm, and they have an expired tag, and all of those charges will still go. You just will have the administrative fine for that particular low-level offense of possession of less than an ounce. But it doesn't preclude officers from also using their determination as to which statute they're going to cite someone under. I would venture to say that if you cited someone under state law for that crime, I don't think the district attorney's office or anyone is going to take that to trial. It's just not cost effective. I don't know, but I think there's some cost realities when you're prosecuting these low-level offenses that just don't make it efficient for use of public resources.
And just going back to what I said, that's why I don't want to allocate these funds to a certain fund, because there is no administrative fee. They still have to come before, and we're still using our court services. And we're still going to use probation and all of that other monitoring type. We're not using, but community service, how do they do that? That still goes through. Okay, we'll figure that out.
We don't know the financial
Is 100 enough?
burdens that'll come with changing and revamping the system, because I am not for it being criminal and people having criminal charges, but also there is someone that's going to have to pay to funnel your community service. There is someone that we're going to have to pay when you come in to talk to the court if you don't just pay the fine, or if you want to, there are still people that need to be paid. And so if you're going to come and do it 3 and 4 and 5 and 7 and 8 times, then I just think that we have to pay the people who have to process these things. And so I'm just wondering if $125 would be enough consistently to do that. That's my only, but I won't die on the hill. I'm not gonna stop it.
I think that as things happen, we can change policy if necessary. So I think personally $100 is more than enough, but if the council wants to, push forward with $125, and that be just, I think, the repeat fine. So if they do it on Monday, it's $125. If they do it on Wednesday, it's $125. If they do it on Friday, $125. Somebody who's great at math, tell me how much money we just made off that entire week. That's what I'm talking about, $375. So I do think that it's still, a good thing and a good plan, because I get it, Clayton County's got they're doing a little bit more money on the $150 side, but down in Athens, they're at $35, and I think it's another city that's also, Camilla, they're $35, and they're just fine, so.
All right,
I don't
so
think 100 is that far off.
I know there's a lot of discussion. There's a motion on the floor. It's been appropriately second. We can take a vote for this and see if it dies and comes back with a less amount, or we can modify.
Did you amend it?
Is the motion for 100, Mayor?
Yeah, the motion now is for 100.
Can we
100.
modify that amount?
If she only the person that made the motion can, so I'm going to ask her. If not, it has to pass or fail. So,
$100 to stay out of Clayton County Jail.
Councilwoman Kearney, can y'all public discussion? So there's a motion on the floor. It's been appropriately second. Let's just take a vote on this one, and then if we need to modify, we can. All in favor?
Aye.
Hold on for a second. I'm just trying to understand,
Okay, well then she needs to amend it. So do you want to amend your motion?
and that's what we're discussing right now.
Okay, we'll discuss out.
All right. So,
All right, who's talking right now? So Councilman Alfred Dixon has the floor.
yes.
So currently, Chief, it's $1,000 if someone gets caught with marijuana, correct? Maximum. And currently, we want to take it down to $100. When Ms. Lowe expressed, very beautifully that this is an opportunity for us to take care of the things that we need to take care of. And I feel that, sorry? Could be. Got you. And I'm all for, protecting the stability of our families here. But at the same time, I feel like we can take that up just a bit.
To what? Just making sure.
Like I said, currently it's 1,000.
All right, hold on, one person at a time.
I would love to see what council's thoughts is. I'm thinking $200 to $500. And I'm like currently it's 1,000. Currently it's 1,000. And like I said, we need a lot. We want, we need a lot of things within our city. So I'm just trying to be creative here. But yeah, just wanted to hear what the council had to say.
So there's a motion on the floor for a maximum civil fine of $100.
And of course, we still got to talk about, the repeat, offenders and just different things.
So
like
those
that.
things are, okay.
I'm trying to nail down a number here, so.
Councilwoman Kearney, just wait. Did you have something to say, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yeah, it's more about the legislation.
Mayor Pro Tem?
And maybe Chief can answer this question for me. When you give someone a citation, can you walk me through the process of how many people are involved in from citation to paying it?
So at current, because there's no quantifiable test, there's a lot of citations that aren't being issued unless it's 1 ounce or more, or they have marijuana, plus guns, plus credit cards and things like that don't belong to them that are associated with another crime. But essentially, the officer will write the citation. They turn that into the courts. There's 2 people within courts that schedule those court cases, and then there's front office staff, 2 staffers in front office that field those telephone calls, collect fines, and things like that for court. Plus, the judge sits on court date to hear the case.
Okay.
You have evidence custodian that is in charge of taking that evidence in, dropping that evidence into evidence and holding it for court until its disposition is being.
I hear you.
Till a disposition is issued by the court.
Okay, thank you. So I heard 7 to 10 hands possibly, right? These are people that we have to pay $15 an hour, $20 an hour, $19 an hour, right? And so to the point, even of the other cities, Clayton County has way more revenue than we do. Forest Park has way more revenue than we do. Camilla, different. Athens, way more revenue than we do. And so I am all for helping all people. The people who come through and they have a little less than an ounce, I get it. Also our residents too, because we're asking a lot on their backs right now. And so if we're going to make this change, that might come with some challenges from the residents in the city of Jonesboro, because change is difficult for everybody. I think we should at least be able to show them that it's not gonna put us in a deficit, because I don't know how we could pay 7 people on $125. And I just feel like I just want it to make sense a little bit more.
Okay, so will we entertain just aligning with the county and just doing
Hold on 1
$150?
second, Mayor, Councilwoman Kearney. Just want to stay away, so we have a motion on the floor. Do you want to amend your motion?
I want to amend my motion once I find out
But it has to
if
go
people.
through, but it has to go through the discussion.
They're still in discussion.
We're still in discussion. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but just wait till you acknowledge. I'm trying to keep it a little.
Okay, sorry.
Yes.
Please, okay. All right, so I'm trying to figure out, could we just align with Clayton County and do $150 for the fine? Would everybody is anybody opposed to that, I guess? Then I would like to amend my motion and change the fine to $150.
Do you still second, Councilman Dixon?
Second.
All right. No further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right. Thank you so very much. Next on the All right. Next on the agenda.
Car that runs on cannabis. Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? You got a nice life. You got a nice wife. You're working hard for your money. You got to save to survive, but the gas prices never cease to rise. Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis? Don't you want a car that runs on cannabis?
One person did say no, but that wasn't enough to stop the city of Jonesboro from decriminalizing the possession of marijuana. Now, that doesn't mean it's legal, but now if you're caught with less than 1 ounce, the potential fine has dropped from $1,000 to $150. And instead of the risk of 180 days in jail, you will get 0. The councilwoman who introduced the ordinance said she wanted to free up police officers to focus on more violent crime. Jonesboro sits in Clayton County, which decriminalized the drug in September. About 24 other municipalities have done the same. But Councilwoman Tracy Messick argued the ordinance sends a confusing message to residents, considering marijuana possession remains illegal statewide.
And speaking of confusing messages,
It's downright un-American to lock someone out for smoking a joint at this point. We have pop icons out there, like James Dean smoking a cigarette, Bob Marley smoking a spliff. And so if we're gonna have these hypocritical messages, we have to admit we've got Pied Piper there just drawing people in to get locked up. And that is so unfair and confusing to our general public and for our public safety. Downright un-American to lock someone out for smoking a joint at this point.
super proud of all the activists who showed up today to the decrim meeting. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, share, and even donate if you can. If you like this stuff, I could definitely use some donations for all the technology and obviously for feeding Tiger Lily. Yeah. You want to say, come over here. You want to say hi to everyone? Yeah? No?